Yo, hey guys, it's Beast, back with some more Beastly content, and I wanted to cover this because people are coming out and saying this stuff like it's new news or something, because the Chinese version of it did a more in-depth article. So, while the Chinese version has covered this in just a little bit more detail, there's still most of the information you need on the English version. It is not just Chinese information. They may have given the Chinese information like more of a list of what's actually coming. However, we do have the annual version 2.0 Dreamvale like official page actually showing right here. So as you can see here, here's some interesting things. There are going to be 11 free draws for Lightfall Loot Crate, so that means we're getting 11 ingots for free. That's actually pretty cool, honestly, but you know, it's kind of like giving somebody a lottery ticket. You get them to scratch, and then they'll come back and scratch again. That is clearly their plan there. Now, claim 17,000 plus Starcom and enjoy 40 draws at the Wish Machine. So, you can give me 40 draws at the Wish Machine all you want, but if you don't give me any new weapons, I don't care, because there's no new guns. And I haven't heard anything of new weapons. There hasn't been any talk. I'm really hoping on this 2.0 version we get some new pew pew guys. I'm telling you, if 2.0 gets here and we don't get at least one new gun, come on, Des, at least one new gun. Now, here's my other thing about like guns and like why I'm not really too hyped about them releasing guns anyway, and I'll show you. Alrighty, so here's what's currently going on the Once Human Discord. So they did this for scenarios too. This is actually where they got the idea from in the stream, because these devs don't come up with anything original, okay? That's the thing you need to realize about these devs, okay? So they asked people to come up with their own legendary weapons, and lo and behold, what do you think people are doing? Doing nothing but submitting AI-created art versions of weapons, and they're probably, like, it's crazy. They can't even come up with their own weapons designs. They're asking the community to come up with weapon designs for this game, and some of the designs on here honestly are very, very cool. Now, that being said, if we get like a just spam load, it's funny, someone put a Destiny 2 gun on here. If we get a spam load of guns out of nowhere, all low quality, like buggy guns, we know they're all AI guns. So that's my thing. I kind of feel like at this point in the game, they're just making everything with AI. That's why everything is so weak. Now, another thing I want to mention about this class system is, once again, Life After had a class system, and it was the exact same class system. I mean, it had the exact same 3 classes, guys. So, I mean, this is just really interesting here, but I'm going to go ahead and explain these classes now. The Chinese site that has, like, a full patch note over this does cover the classes system in more details. However, the English site has been up for, like, a week now with this new version of the Once Human game. And as you can see here, a brand new class system allows you to become the Beast King, cultivate anima to battle deviants, and cook imaginative dishes. So, I'll give you a little bit of a brief rundown. I'll also link down below a video that's covering the Chinese dev notes situation there. I'll go ahead and leave that video down below that I just watched. And I seen it and I was like, why are they acting like this is new information? Because I've known about all of this for a week now, because the website changed a week ago. But as you can see here, Beast King, cultivate anima to battle deviations, aka a botanist, and cook imaginative dishes, aka the chef. So, here's a really interesting thing about the chef. I want to talk about this a little bit. I don't like this class system, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you why. So, first of all, if you want to tame animals and have them fight along your side, you're going to have to choose Beast King. Now, if you choose Beast King, you're nuking yourself in the foot, and you want to know why? Because the chef class system actually has a specific perk for being a chef that gives you 2 drink buff slots and 2 food buff slots instead of the normal 1. So, if you do not choose to be a chef, you will have half of the food and drink buffs that chefs are allowed to get. So, the chefs are going to be able to get double buffs compared to any of the other classes, and that makes absolutely no sense to me. I get that you're a chef, but why does chef affect your combat abilities? You're the chef, you're not the soldier who can have more buffs than everybody else. Why did that make any sense to them? Why would you decide to take the food and drink system and be like, yeah, and if you're a chef, you can have 2 food drink buffs and 2 food and drink buffs? Like, wait, why? Because that makes every other class something I don't want to choose. I feel like I'm being pressured to choose the chef, because even if I found a chef player in game who was a chef, they could make dishes for me, and they're also going to be getting a higher percentage on the dishes and apparently be able to make unique dishes that other players aren't going to be able to make. So once again, pretty much you're going to be forced into taking the chef slot. Now, we're going to go on into the botanist now. Let me go and talk about that. So first of all, apparently you're going to get an upgraded version of the plots, an upgraded version of lighting and irrigation. Now, I'm not sure if this is an actual upgraded version or what I would assume it to be, being is that there are already memetic specializations for the plot facilities and, you know, everything else like that. I'm assuming it's just going to be a perk that's just like active when you choose to be a botanist for your class. And it means that you're going to get a higher output, your crops might grow faster, you're going to get those buffed planter boxes, irrigators, things like that, which is all well and cool, but it also means that every other player gets actually a nerf on their grow time and it's just weird. It's like nerfing everything and then making a class system to improve the nerf. It's really strange to me. I don't really get the point of this class system. This is not any new content, man. Giving me the title as chef and allowing me to have 2 food and 2 drink buff slots is not new content, and also that's very stupid. Why would you do that? Because only chefs are going to have the double buffs in combat now. You can't have a double food or drink buff without becoming the chef, so why would you ever choose to be anything else? Beastmaster is really cool though. You can tame like wild animals like polar bears, any animal you can think of, you can tame it. Also, apparently it's going to start you out with an animal, which actually concerns me. That actually concerns me, because if it starts you out with an animal, and actually on the Chinese version, it actually was like saying a couple different sort of animals that you were going to be able to choose as your starter pet, which makes me feel like it's going to be super limited and not all animals are going to be able to actually be tamed and fight alongside of you. We will see how this works out in the future. Honestly, it makes sense if every single animal was tameable as a Beastmaster, but it might even just be a select handful of the pool. So that's pretty much all that the Chinese dev notes covered, but once again, link down below to Utopia's video because, well, he did cover the Chinese version's patch notes, and there's just a little bit more information. But once again, we have information on the English site, and there's actually just a little bit of more information on this English site, I do believe. So, abundant and generous rewards, limited time fashion weapon skins, giveaways, and billions in annual mall subsidies. So, one of the interestingest things here for me is this actual bird statue right here. Really reminds me of Articuno from Pokemon. And with a variety of casual mode, including racing, competitions, shooting challenges, and capturing morph deviations. So, capturing morph deviations though, what does that even mean? Because morph deviations is like Starfall inversion deviations, right? Is it just like hyping up Starfall inversion? A brand new scenario is live with layers of dreams, unlocking the nightmare-themed apocalypse. It's survival. It's not brand new. It is just the full release of what is Endless Dreams. As you can see here, there's also a pre-register for the new version, annual version 2.0 Dreamvale. So if you haven't went ahead and pre-registered, you do want to go ahead and do that. There is 1.5k Starcrom right here that you can claim, which once again, what's the point? If you're not going to give us new guns, I have like 200k Starcrom. I don't use any of it. So let's go back up to these version rewards. Unlock an exclusive fashion set for free. So that's cool. I'm definitely going to be logging in to collect this stuff. I definitely want my year 1 stuff. I've been here for a year and I'm going to get my stuff. The update should be coming on July 2nd according to the English site. I have heard people reading from the Chinese site seeing the July 3rd date and saying that stuff's coming on the 3rd. The update for the English version should be on July 2nd according to their own website. So yeah, just so you know, I'll leave a link down below to their website as well. I'm gonna try and keep my judgment reserved until the update gets here because I do want to see what other things there are. But as for the class system, I'm not impressed, and I'm really miffed that the chefs are going to be able to have 2 food buffs and 2 drink buffs, especially because I really like to do gardening. Now the other weird thing is that like you can combine plants and then turn them into living plants to like defend or fight deviants or something like that. I guess, I don't know, you can like summon them in battle. Like, I summon my, like, it's weird. Why even, that doesn't make any sense. It's like, I don't know, it's weird. It's weird. Now I do know it's life after features, so that's kind of why we're getting it anyway. But this is all I have to say, guys. This is the latest information. What do you think of it? What do you think of this new class system? I honestly really hate the chef buff. I think that is the stupidest thing ever, to give 2 drink and 2 food buffs to only the chefs, and everybody else has half of the buffs if they decide to choose anything else. I really do feel like that's going to make it to where everybody chooses to be a chef, because everybody's going to want that double food and double buff for combat. Kind of just a no-brainer thing there. Why would you do that? But I'm out of here, guys. See ya. Keep it beast mode.